G'day. This video is just a general introductory video about Inventor, but on this one I just want to focus on the project browser, which is over on this side here. Okay, so this is a standard Inventor window here, and we've got the modeling environment over here and the project environment, the project browser, sorry. Okay, so the project browser is really a, a list of all the steps that you've completed to create your project. Alright, so if I go to start a sketch and I go there to create that sketch, you can see that over here I've got sketch 1. Okay, that's activated. Everything else is greyed out because at the moment I'm doing sketch 1, I'm editing sketch 1. Okay, so if I just draw a circle on there, on sketch 1, finish sketch, now you can see everything else is active again. Okay, but there's my sketch. If I decide to do something with that sketch, and let's just say a basic extrusion like that, then we call the sketch consumed, which means that it's been used for something. So you can see now it's grey, which means it's grey in the project browser, which means that it's been used for something. Alright, I can still access it, so underneath the extrusion that I created, if I hit the plus, there's my sketch. If I double click on it, I can change it. I can add another circle in the middle here if I want to, for instance. If I finish the sketch, it's not actually going to make any difference until I go back to the extrusion and I say, alright, let's take out that bit in the middle, and I did that by holding shift and selecting that profile and then OK. Alright, but there's my sketch. Okay, if I need to change anything about that extrusion, I can do it by changing the sketch. Okay, now one mistake that people make is that they in a sketch they'll say, alright, I've got this here and I want to have some other little circles that are going to stick out around there. So let's just do a circular pattern with that. The axis is going to be there. Okay, I've got 6 of those. I'm going to go OK. Alright, and I want these to be sticking out on top of my my little donut shape here. Alright, now I can't do that because even though those little circles are on the sketch, this sketch has been used for this extrusion, so therefore I can't use it anymore. Okay, well, apparently I can't, but I actually can. So if I want to use this sketch again for another feature, I can right click on it and I can go share sketch. Now you can see that my sketch is blue again, which means that I can use it for something. So if I go extrude, alright, and then I go around to this side here, I can select all of these, and then I can say I want them to be sticking out. Now I accidentally selected the outside there, so I'm just going to close that and I'm going to select again. Okay, so I want all of these. Did it again. So that, plus that, plus that, plus that, plus that, plus that. I'm missing one, so I'll just have to rotate it. Oh no, I'm not missing any. Okay, and I want those to go out by 2 millimeters, and there we have it. Okay, so I've got one sketch and I've used it twice. Okay, a better way to do that would be to start a new sketch on here and then do my circles. But if you've done it all on one sketch, you can actually get around it by doing that. Alright, so now you can see that both of these extrusions use sketch 1. Okay, if I do that and I take the visibility off that sketch, it's now no longer available, and so if I try and do an extrusion, there's no sketch to what sends me straight into start sketch so that I can do a sketch to do my extrusion on, because there's no available sketches. All right, so that's what happens with the project browser. Let's just look at a part that I've made here. Okay, so you can see that I've created an extrusion. The sketch for that is there. Okay, then I have done a hole, which is that one through there, and there's the sketch for that. So every new feature on my part has got a separate sketch for it. Okay, then I've got a work plane. It's an XZ plane. All right, and I've done it over to here. Okay, then I've got this sketch here, and then I've got this sketch here. So that's all the things for my part. This thing at the bottom here called end of part is important as well, because if I think actually I want to try using a different shape for that pin there, what I can do is I can actually go up to here. Okay, so I can I've actually saying the end of the part is now here, and now if I start a new sketch I can do it on there, and I can say alright, let's do a square shape on there instead of a round one. Okay, and then I can extrude that to 20 millimeters and like that, and I think no, that's really dumb. Okay, and I can get rid of that, delete that. Okay, and then I can move my end of part back down to there, and it puts it back the way it was. Alright, but if I decide, no, actually I just want to leave it at that, I can right click on that and I can say delete all features below EOP, which stands for end of part. Very literal. Alright, and so now I can start again from that point. So it's a bit like using the history or undo. Okay, you can actually go back and start from further back. Alright, I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to go back to here, back to the way it was. Then when we get into the assembly environment, okay, so this is the same part but in an assembly. Alright, so I've got two of those parts that I showed you there with the spinner arm with the hook. I've got an outer ring, I've got another spinner arm but without the hook on it. Then I've got the base, I've got 4 caps there which I had to make so that my solder didn't come off the end. Alright, so and with this one, because it's an assembly, I can actually manipulate it so it sort of shows the way that it moves, and that's a pretty funky little movement right there. Alright, I've also got a sketch on there, and this sketch is one that I use to work out how big a roll of solder it will take. So if I turn the visibility of that sketch on, you can see that it goes there, and then if I move this in, it goes in, and it says now it's only 128 millimeters. So that's a sketch that I've done as part of the assembly. Alright, underneath, so these are all of my parts. If I go under this part here, I can see the constraints that I've used. Okay, so I haven't dealt with constraints or modeling constraints or assembly constraints with any of the videos that I've done so far, but constraints is how we assemble our projects together. Okay, so you can see all of those. If I want to actually edit that one, I can right click on it and I can go open, and this one just happens to already be open, and so there it is in that part. Okay, from my assembly I can also say, alright, I want to edit that part. If I double click on it, it allows me to edit it, but while I can still see all of the rest of the stuff from that project. Okay, so so you can see that's how I've done it there, and so you can see all of the steps that I've taken to draw that. So I've got a sketch there for my first extrusion, a sketch there for my second extrusion, etc. And then I've got my circular pattern, and there's occurrence 1, 2, 3 and 4 of that pattern. Okay, and that was the part that I used for my circular pattern. So you got a lot of information in the project browser. As I've shown you in other videos, you can, if you need to do a circular pattern of a feature, you can select it on the browser, or you can select it in the modeling window. Okay, either way will work. If you want to find something in the browser, you can, if we just go back to return to take us back to the main assembly. Alright, if I want to find that part in the browser, I can, I think I can go, no, I can't. There was a thing that says find in browser, but we haven't got that one. Alright, so so that's just a little bit about the modeling window and the project browser. There is other stuff up here, okay, about the way that the model is represented and that sort of thing, but that's a little bit more advanced, so we won't worry about that one. Okay, the relationships just shows you all of the constraints put into one long list, okay, but they also appear underneath each of the parts. Okay, and you can see that as you go down, it highlights them in the modeling window. All right, so that's a bit about the project browser. It's a really useful tool, and it's a good way of having a look at all of the different parts of your project that you are creating. Thanks for watching.